Right. Oh, maybe there තමයි ලකුණු දීලා තියෙන්නේ for the first one computer worms, second one spam, third one phishing, fourth one adware. So 1 mark for each part that you have identified. And next, it is says the diagram shows how the diagram shows how the person works on his computer, right, to health related issues that he may face due to this posture. So now this is an incorrect posture, right? So let me show you a one which is very clear, right? අපි ඔය පාර්ට් එක අපිට කතා බහ කරන්න පුළුවන් වෙලා නැහැ. ලෙසන් එකේදී මම පොඩ්ඩක් දැන් බ්‍රීෆ් කරන්නම්. right? ඔයගලන්ට ආන්සරයක් බලනකොට ඕක ක්ලියර් වෙයි එතකොට. right? Let me take the textbook of yours. Yeah. So health issues are happenings to you because of the incorrect posture, right? වැරදි විදිහට වැරදි ඉරියව් අරගෙන යන නිසා, right? So අපි හොඳ ඉරියව් වැරදි ඉරියව් මොකක්ද කියන එකත් දැනගන්න ඕනේ නේද? So I'll show you one which gives you the correct postures. Yeah, now this shows the correct and incorrect postures, right? So the one which is in the yellow color is showing you how the correct posture is happening. So other two pictures are giving the incorrect postures. Then they have what the highlight the place that you are going to have health issues or the injuries, right? So now remember like this incorrect seating, the way you are holding the back, and the place you have placed the monitor, and where your eyes are getting what's the level of eyes that you are going to have with the monitor, right? So those will be problems, right? So in your book they have correctly identified or like the said how to get this thing done. So first we go through the health issues, right? So like musculoskeletal problems, right? So that is regarding the spine and the back. It is due to the incorrect posture, like when you are not seating properly on a seat. So that is what you call musculoskeletal problems, right? So වැරදි විදිහට ඉඳගෙන හිටියම තමයි ඔය වැඩේ වෙන්නේ සහ when you are sitting for a very long time without having a break, right? And RSI, repetitive stress injuries, this is again when you are like since you are having the workings or like the computer works without a break, right? And it will start from the shoulders and move to the hand, like giving some like sometimes it gets swelled, right? ඉදිමෙන්න ගන්නවා, සමහරවිට රිදෙනවා, right? සමහරවිට අර මස් පිඩු තද වෙනවා කියලා මාංශ පේශී ඒවා හිර වෙනවා නැත්නම් බ්ලොක් වෙනවා වගේ කියලා, right? So those kind of things will be happening, right? So this is called the repetitive stress injuries, right? And the other one, the CTS, carpal tunnel syndrome. So this basically this happens because you are not resting your arm when you are doing a work, right? සාමාන්‍යයෙන් අපි කියනවා when you are working with a computer, your arm should be on the table, right? ගොඩක් වෙලාවට අපේ කට්ටිය හුරු වෙලා තියෙන්නේ arm එක table එකේ rest කරන්න නෙවෙයි, they will hang the arm from the wrist එක මේසෙට තියාගෙන තද කරලා අත කියන්නේ wrist එකෙන් පහළ කොටස they just like hang around from the wrist. The wrist එකට බර දීලා අරයව එල්ලි එල්ලි තියෙන්න. So which gives an extra pressure to wrist. So then it will be giving you some nerve issues. මොකද එකම nerve එක උතුම් තද වෙන්න පටන් ගන්නවා. ඒ nerves ඔක්කොම මේ ඇඟිලි වලට සම්බන්ධයි. So once the nerves from the wrist is damaged or like having extra pressure, it will affects the fingers as well, right? And when you are not giving a rest to your eyes, it will become a dry eye since you are like contacting with the computer screen for a long time, right? So this is called as the CVS, computer vision syndrome, right? So like having the red eyes, having the redness in the eye tearing and blurred vision, or like it will cause the headaches and neck pains due to this CVS. Like අපි හිතාවේ නැති වුණාට ඇහි තියෙන problem එක බෙල්ලට ඔළුවට බලපාන්න පුළුවන්, right? So as a treatment for this, what they recommend is like at least per hour it's better you take a break, like පොඩ්ඩක් නැගිටලා ඈත තියෙන දෙයක් දිහා බලලා, right? So you will give a relaxation time period for your eyes as well as to your body, right? And headaches, and again it is because of the eyes, like since you are having or like since the eyes are getting tired, it will cause the headaches and all these things. Then it will it may can move to the positions like migraine and all these things, right? And stress, this is regarding the workload, right? So like you are not sleeping, and you maybe it's due to the addiction as well, right? So you are not sleeping, you always sit on the computer and watch or do or play computer games, or like watching movies or whatever the things you have addicted to the computer, and like you are having a very big time, considerably big time with the computer screen and the computer by sitting on a chair. And again if it is kind of a working, so it will happen, so like you have to meet the deadline, so you have to do the things before the deadline. So those kind of stress and all these things will get mixed up and will cause you some very uncomfortable situations, right? So as they say, increase of activities in the working environment due to the technology advancement cause stress, sleeplessness, tiredness, lack of appetites, likewise, right? These are the health issues, right? So health issues can be avoided by using this correct posture, right? So as you can see, the monitor is like lower the eye level, right? කියන්නේ අපේ monitor එකේ frame එක නෙවෙයි, monitor එකේ පේන ප්‍රමාණය තිරය, ඒක අයගේ board එක ගැන නෙවෙයි මෙතන කතා කරන්නේ. Frame එක at least should be something lower than your eye level, right? And you should have a proper backrest when you are doing it. ඉස්සරහට නැමිලා කරන්න හොඳට, right? And you should have your like what, feet on the ground, right? ගොඩක් අය හුරු වෙලා තියෙනවා ඒක කකුල් දෙක සමහර වෙලාවට කොහේ හරි තැනක රඳවගෙන, කියන්නේ පුටුවේ අග තියෙන කොටස් වල දාගෙන ඉස්සරහට නැමිලා වැඩ කරන්න. ඒක like this will give you long term problems, right? ඒ වෙලාවේ රිදෙන්න ගන්න, ඒ වෙලාවේ okay කියලා අපිට හිතෙනවා, right? But if you do this as a practice, like within the time, you will be getting a problem, and it will not easy for you to clarify it, or like the get well, because when the injury is happens, it won't get well very soon, right? Now for myself, since I'm working a lot of time with the computer, I'm having those back pains, right? So I have to do the exercises, and sometimes I have to go for the medical treatments as well. So it is not a good thing, right? And අපි ඕක කොච්චර දැනගෙන හිටියත් සමහරලාට අපි නොසලකා හරිනවා. So it is the carelessness, because of the carelessness. But once the things will happen, you may not like it, right? දැන් මම දැන් නිදාගෙන ඇඳෙන් නැගිටිනකොට මට සමහර දවස්වලට නැගිට ගන්න අමාරුයි, right? ඒ කියන්නේ මගේ කොන්ද ශක්තිමත් නැහැ. ඉඳගෙන ඉඳලා ඒකට එක්සර්සයිස් එකක් හම්බෙන්නේ නැතුව ඒක දුර්වල වෙනවා, right? So ඊට පස්සේ අපිට හිතලා එක්සර්සයිසස් කරන්න වෙනවා, සහ ශක්තිමත් කරන්න වෙනවා, බෙහෙත් බොන්න වෙනවා, right? So it's better you like do everything on a correct posture, not only the computing, right, but everything, right? So they have given you some solutions at the end as well, so it's better you go through. හරිද? ඔක අපිට ඕන වෙනවා. දැන් මේ පේපර් එක අතර මැද්ද මේක කතා කරලා ගත්තේ. අපිට මේක කතා බහ කරන්න හම්බෙලා නැහැ තාම මේ පාඩම. So we'll go through it like this, and we'll get on to the summary when we are done with these papers, right? Excuse me. Yes, these are some points that they are talking about: keeping the computer on the suitable table at eye level or little lower, the distance between computer screen and the eye to be 18 to 28 inches or 45 to 70 centimeters, keeping the user back straight against the back of the chair and keeping shoulders relaxed, right? Keeping legs vertical to the ground with the sole flat on the surface, keeping the mouse near the computer, keying inward lightly, moving wrist as it necessary, while keeping the keyboard straight at elbow level or lower, right? ඒක තමයි අර computer tables වල ඔයගලන්ට කියන්නේ අත relax වෙන ප්‍රමාණයකට keyboard එක connect වෙන්නේ tray එකකින් එන්න, right? ඔයගොල්ලෝ මේසයක් පොඩ්ඩක් වැඩ කරන්නේ හොඳට මතක තියාගන්න. like කියන්නේ arm එක මේසෙ උඩ තියලා වැඩ කරගන්න පුළුවන් දුරට වැඩ කරන්න ඕන, right? Okay, and area these movements, they say adjust light on the computer to make eye comfortable. නේද? අඳුරු තැන් වල ඉඳලා වැඩ කරන්න හොඳ නැහැ. එතකොට ඇහැට එන රිදුම සහ ඇහැ මහන්සි වෙන ප්‍රමාණය වැඩි. Blink and take eyes off the screen on and off, right? Because when we are staring at the screen, sometimes we stop blinking, right? So blinking is the activity which refresh the moisture of our eyes, right? So when you are going out with the blinking, so your eye is getting dry, which is not good for your eyes, right? Because eye is a place where you should have a proper moisture, right? And take a break in between work, walk short distance, පොඩි දුරක් ඇවිදින්න කියලා කියනවා. Fix playtime session for children and direct them to other activities. Yes, people using computer at work for 7 to 8 hours need to refrain from using computer at home and maintain relaxed mind. Yes, so like වැඩ කරන තැනත් computer එක පැය 7-8ක් බලලා විශේෂයෙන් programmer කෙනෙක් ඊළඟට banks වල වැඩ කරන අය තව companies වල computer related work කරනවා නම් පැය 7කට 8කට it's better you come home and have a relaxed mind, right? එතනත් ඇවිල්ලා වැඩ කරන්න ගියොත් the stress will get increased, right? Okay, so those will be the things we have to go through and to keep our health in a proper manner, right? Okay, let's shift to the paper. So they are talking about uh, uh, what kind of things that this particular person can have. So like most likely he's going to have a back pain because of this thing, right? So කොන්ද කෙලින් තියාගෙන ඉන්නේ නැහැ, right? So musculoskeletal problems will be there, and he is not having his feet on a proper posture, right? And again he is bent from his neck, so neck pains can be there, and he is very closer to the screen, so eye strains can be have, right? CVS, computer vision syndromes can be there, right? And he is not resting his arm properly. මෙතනින් මේ arm එක මේසෙ උඩ තියෙනවා, but මේ shoulders ඇකිලිලා තියෙන්නේ, right? So which will lead to the repetitive stress injuries, RSI problems, right? So those kind of issues can be there. So in the marking scheme they have given some additional answers as well. So muscular skeleton syndrome, neck pains, headaches, computer vision syndromes, repetitive stress injuries, even carpal tunnel syndrome they have given, but it is not very much justifiable. But වැරදි පෝස්ට් එකේ ඉන්න නිසා මෙතන අපිට පැහැදිලි නෑ මොන විදිහටද මේ අත තියාගෙන ඉන්න කියන එක. So it can go for the marks can be taken for carpal tunnel syndrome as well, right? Okay, so if you got any two of these, you can have 1.5 into 2. So 3 marks can be given for that. Yeah, and the next one is the cyber crimes which you can face, right? So let's go through that particular cyber crime part as well. So අපි එක සැරයක් ඔය විදිහට refresh වුණාම ඔයගලන්ට ලේසි එක capture කරගන්න, right? These are under the legal issues of the computer and society part. So this is one thing which is called the data theft, right? So data theft is like someone logged into your computer without the knowledge of yours and stolen things from that, right? So personally identifiable information, PII, we abbreviate it like that, stolen from a computer or other device can be considered as a data theft, right? So it can be on many ways, like someone can store it from a flash drive or from a camera, mobile phone, right? Those kind of things. So just access to that device and taking things out without the knowledge of the holding person or like the owning person. And unauthorized access into the computer system, yeah, that is again a legal issue and as well as an ethical issue, right? So අපි ප්‍රතිපත්තියක් විදිහට we are not going to look into someone else's privacy, but here it is breaking down and and it can be taken as a legal issue, like you can press the charge against that particular person, right? And it is called the unauthorized access, right? And these intellectual property rights are there to protect the above two situations, right? ඒ කියන්නේ අපේ දෙයක් හොරකම් කරොත් හරි හොරෙන් අරගත්තොත් හරි ඒක නීතිමය විදිහට පියවර ගන්න, legal actions ගන්න. It is the thing that we call the intellectual property rights. So since we are having those rights, we can sue him against that. අපිට නඩු දාන්න පුළුවන්, තව legal actions ගන්න පුළුවන් for that kind of uh, uh, things or like the activities, right? So when you are having the intellectual property regarding your possible things, so you can have these copyrights which preventing others by copying, distributing, and selling your own work as well, right? So in most of the cases, these copyrights will give the ownership to the person's work. හිතන්නකෝ ඔයගොල්ලෝ චිත්‍රයක් distribute කරනවා කියලා. So if you have the copyrights, you are the only person that have the authority of distributing it, selling it, and all these things, right? And if someone else needed that things to be done, that particular person should have the permission from yourself or the person who is holding the copyrights, right? Right. And frauds, right? So the computer frauds is any dishonest misinterpretation of fact intended to let others another to do or refrain from doing something which causes loss. The fraud will result in obtaining benefits by, for an example, altering an unauthorized way, altering, destroying, or suppressing or stealing output to conceal the unauthorized transaction. Or like this is just simply, this means හොර වැඩ කරනවා කියන එක, right? Fraud එක, right? So like තව කෙනෙක් විදිහට පෙනී ඉන්න එක, right? මගේ මම කියලා තව කෙනෙක් පෙනී ඉන්නවා. So that's going to be a fraud, right? So here in the identity theft, they have said deliberately use of someone else's identity as a method to gain financial advantages. So likewise, right? So එතනදී තව කෙනෙක්ගේ තියෙන personal දේවල් වැරදි විදිහට පාවිච්චි වෙන්න පුළුවන්, like an NICs or the identifying information, credit card numbers, kind of things, right? So ඒ වගේම ඔය සමහර ලාට අපි කියනවනේ certificates fraud විදිහට distribute කරනවා, right? So someone is presenting someone else certificates as their own, right? So those things can be taken as frauds, right? And these issues, the plagiarisms, right? Like copying something from someone else's work and introducing those or like presenting those as their own work, right? Then ඕක ගොඩක් වෙලාවට මේ is happening when we are doing the assignments, right? We take things from the internet and we just copy and paste and give it as our work, right? Which is not a good thing and not an ethical thing. And when if someone is having copyrights regarding those writings, they can they can take legal actions regarding your working, right? So still you can copy things, but when you are copying it, you have to cite means you have to tell from which article that this is being taken, who is the owner of that, in which particular website that this is extracted or published, right? So those things should have happened, right? So that is why this citing, quoting, and referencing is there. Right? Yeah, we'll discuss things in the things like when we got a problem with this. Okay, so I'm moving back to the question paper. So it is asking, consider the following scenario labeled and name what are those, right? So a person copying licensed software downloaded from the internet and selling to the others. So this is called the piracy, right? සිංහලෙන් අපි කියනවා මෘදුකාංග මංකොල්ලය කියලා. Right? So piracy is going to come as the answer for the first one. Right? Then a person logging into a social media account using stolen username and a password. Yeah. So this is regarding what we can take is this can be taken as a privacy issue, right? And since there is cyber crime, I doubt whether they have gone for that as well. Let me see. Let me check the answer script. Yes. So the first one they have taken as piracy. Second one they have taken it as cyber crime, and in there the privacy is violated, right? Yeah. So the better answer is the cyber crime. And the last concepts that they are talking about is what you call the digital divide. So the digital divide means the ability and the non-ability of connecting with the devices for many reasons, right? Devices එක connect වීමේ හා නොවීමේ හැකියාව, right? So there are many reasons regarding this, like the financial strength, right, and the knowledge, where you should have the particular skills, the technical skills. Otherwise, you don't know how to use a device, right? And the attitudes, right? Those kind of things, right? Will effects of having the digital divideness, right? So the answer for the second one is the cyber crime. This is the second one answer, and this is the third one's answer, right? So your answers are given 1 mark for each, and first one is piracy, second one is cybercrime, and third one is digital divide. Right. So moving to the third question, right? Who have done the third? Yes. Anyone who has tried the third one? Right. Danidu has done it. Binu has done it. Okay. So we are going to discuss it. So the third question is like this. Where is this paper? Yes. So it is regarding the HTML, the first part. So as you can see, the milk rice is here as a heading. It's in big font, so it's going to be a heading. So H2 is referred, and there is another one. So it is because this is center aligned, right? So in the question paper, the diagram, inside it, the heading part is center aligned, right? So the first one is going to be center, right? So this is number one. And the second one is inside with SRC and ALT, which are the attributes of the ing tag, right? So milkrice.jpg, that is they are talking about this particular image. So the second is belongs to the img tag. So this is the second, right? And the third, it is inside the p tag and talking about an align. So for align, there are 4 different values which are called the left, right, center, and justified. So since they are talking about this particular paragraph, right, because p is starting from here and ending from here, so we have to consider the alignment of this. So it is being justified, neither. in the left and the right alignments are there, so it is justified. So this is going to be the fourth, right? And 4 is, I'm sorry, this is going to be the third. And 4 is like Kiribati is in between 4, so the Kiribati word is lean to the right, so that means italic. So this is the fourth one. Italic is the fourth one. And the word New Year is bolded over here, so it's the B, which is this, the fifth one. And sixth is like in between 6 there are list items. So list items can, LI tag can be held by the UL or the OL, unordered list or the ordered list. So in this output we can see there are bullets, so it is there to be on an unordered list, so it should be a UL, right? So this can be taken as 6. And 7 and 8 is regarding this particular place as well as this particular place. So if I take it in a little bit bigger manner, so it is like this. So 4 is in its natural way, this slash is in its natural way, but 1 is in between 7, so that means this one is superscript. So the tag that can we use is sub, sup, and this one is taken into the lower position, that means subscript, so you can use sub as the tag. So for the 7th it is sub, so this is the 7th, and sub is the 8th. That is how you are going to label these things. So in the marking scheme, you can see how the marks are given from 1 to 6. They have given 1 mark each, and for the 7 and 8, 0.5 for each. So like altogether it's going to be 7 marks. Right, so moving forward, determine whether the following statements are true or false, right? So all 3 statements are taken as true. Let's go through it. Number of pixels can be reduced by removing unnecessary sections in the edge of images using crop and trim tool. Yes, so like when you are having a big picture, right, you can crop that out, මෙහෙම පින්තූරයක් තියෙනකොට, so if you crop it, ඔයාලට crop කරලා මේ කොටස විතරක් ගන්න පුළුවන්, right? So it will reduce the number of pixels is reducing when you are doing the cropping part, right? මොකද කලින් මේ total picture එකට pixels 1000ක් තිබ්බනම් කොටසක් කපලා ගන්නකොට pixel ප්‍රමාණය අඩු වෙනවා. හරි. ඒතර මෙතන අපි හිතමු pixel 500ක් තියෙනවා. Right? So it will reduce. So first one is true. And the second one, size of video files can be reduced by making the frame size smaller. Oh, like the frame size means how you are going to see it, right? Api frame size ගැන කතා කරනවා, අපි කතා කරා 4:3 16:9. That කියන්නේ ඔයාට video එක පේන විදිහ monitor එකේ, right? So ඒක අඩු කරන්න පුළුවන්. full screen දැම්මම full screen යන්නේ නැතුව ඊට වඩා පොඩි ප්‍රමාණයක පේන විදිහට manage කරන්න පුළුවන්. So that means reducing the frame size, right? And reducing the resolution means the quality of your video, right? ඒ කියන්නේ බොහොම sharp video එකක 4K video එකක the resolution is very high, right? So like on other videos, they are getting it is reducing gradually when it comes to the other video types, right? So reducing pixel means you are reducing data of the video. So reducing data means you are reducing the capacity, right? So it will make the file smaller. So this is true, right? So the size of audio files can be compressed by decreasing the sampling rate. Yes. So compression term is always doing a decrease, right? So or file එකක් compress කරත් it's going to reduce its size, and if you are compress an audio, again still it is reducing the size. So it is true again, right? So likewise, so for that particular things you are getting 1 mark for each true answer, right? So you will be having 3 marks for that. Okay, so and if you are getting any question, you can always disturb me, right? I really don't need to remember it again and again, so you can just disturb me and ask the questions, right? Okay, moving to the fourth one, it is regarding the Excel question. So in Excel question, they are talking about some CO2 emission facts, which is in the 1972 and 2014, right? And the difference and the percentage is calculated at the D column and the E column. So in first part, they are asking, write down the formula that should be written in cell D4 to find the difference of CO2 emission between years 2014 and 1972 in Bangladesh. So Bangladesh, first thing you have to recognize where the Bangladesh is, right? Danindu, quality effects on audio files, like audio files වල Danindu quality එක අඩු වෙනවා කියලා කියන්නේ අපිට ඇහෙන ශබ්ද ප්‍රමාණය අඩු වෙනවා කියන එක. The number of sounds that we are getting. කියන්නේ හිතන්නකෝ like when the an audio file can have bass and have some rhythms and have these things. එතකොට එයාගේ quality එක අඩු කරනවා කියලා කියන්නේ දැන් ඔයගලන්ට ඒක මෙහෙම කියන්න පුළුවන්. Like when you are watching a movie in a movie theater, right? So the quality of that audio is in its highest, right? Number of tracks won't give you the hold on, number of tracks. No, number of tracks won't harm. It's actually the bit rate and the audio devices that we are using, right? Those kind of things can be effects, Dandu. Right? Okay. So the difference of the Bangladesh in 1972 and 2014. So Bangladesh in the A4 cell. So the difference is going to calculate for this particular cells. So inside it, you have to write the write your answer in this manner. So like equal, it should be C4 minus B4, right? So that can be written to take the difference of the in the D4 cell. And again, there is a method of writing this thing using the sum function. I want you to take your attention to that as well. So you can say sum. So basically we use sum to add up things. Whatever we are adding is the positive values, right? Then api negative values add කරොත් positive values එක්ක එතකොට අඩුවීමක් තමයි වෙන්නේ. Still it's adding, but eventually you are having the answer as a subtraction. So මෙතනදී අපිට අඩු කරන්න තියෙන්නේ C4 ගෙන් B4 නේ. So we can say sum C4 comma minus B4, right? So if you write it on that manner, sorry, if you write it on that manner, you are going to have marks as well. Right? So ඔය දෙකෙන් කැමති එකකට ලකුණු ගන්න පුළුවන්. Right? So the marks are given on this manner. 2 marks are given to have this particular answer equals C4 minus B4. And the second one is asking about write down the formula that should be written in cell B4, that is the percentage column, which is in the E column. To calculate the percentage increase of CO2 emission from 1972 to 2014 for Bangladesh. Right? So then the percentage, the calculation of percentage increase, they have given a formula, right? So like difference divided by value of year in 1972 and into 100, right? So the difference, yeah, you can say C4 minus B4 instead of D4, because in D4 we already got the difference. So you can use D4 divide by B4, or either C4 minus B4 in brackets divide by B4 and multiply it by 100. For multiplication, you should use the star mark, right? So any answer which is shown in here will be having the marks. Right. So then you can move to the third part. They are asking about assume that the two formula entered in cell D4 and E4 are copied to the cell range D5 colon F10. Right? I'm sorry, D5 colon E10, not F10. Write down respectively the formula displayed in cell D9 and E9 that are related to Sri Lanka. Yes. So this is easy, right? Now, in here you are having C4 minus B4, right? And over here you will be having either C4 minus B4 divided by 100 star, sorry, divided by B9, B4 star 100, right? So when you are copying these two by the field handle as it come to this point, right? So it is going to have, so since you don't have any absolute references, that means dollar signs at the right of any component, they are going to copy in relative manner, right? So if since they are copying it along the column, D column D4 D9 වලට column is not going to change, right? So that means letter is not going to change. It's the number which is going to change. So here it is in 4, here it's 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 will be here. So it's going to be equal C9 minus B9, right? Because both of the references hold in 4. And this particular one, so this is regarding this cell. And for this, it's going to be again C9 minus B9 divided by B9 and multiplied by 100. It's better you write it on the very same level. B9 into 100. Right? So otherwise you can say D9 divided by B9 into 100. You can have these brackets and those are optional. But you should have the equal sign. It is a must. Right, so those are the answer for the second one. So in the marking scheme, we can see the very same things right over here. Right, so for each like they're asking for two formulas, so each formula will be carried 1.5 marks with it, so altogether it's going to be 3 marks. Right, and moving to the fourth part, it says formula in the form of function cell 1 colon cell 2 is written in cell B11 to calculate the total of all countries in 1972. Write down the relevant terms for functional, so for the function 1, cell 1 and cell 2. Hello, good morning. Good morning, good morning. Run to mama. You want to stay here? Okay. Right, so you know what to take the summation or the total for the cell range. So it's a sum function, and you can say function 1 is represented by sum, cell 1 is represented by B4, and cell 2 is represented by B10. Or you can change it as well. Cell 1 is B10 and cell 2 is B4. Doesn't matter, right? Or else you can go with the entire function, right? Like equal sum B4 colon B10. But when you are writing it separately, you can have the marks separately. So like 1 mark for the function, 0.5 for B4 and 0.5 for B10, right? And if you are writing the function at once, or like you can see in the second option, like sum B4 colon B10, so it's just carry 2 marks, like the same marks, but no partial marks are given, right? Remember, have to read that. Hari, පුතාලා මට තප්පරයක් දෙන්න. Right. Right. So moving to the fifth part, they are asking name the most suitable chart type in spreadsheet software to show the CO2 emission of given countries in 1972 and 2014. So it is a 2-column type of a thing. Make a columns dekaka details මේ කියන B column එකේ C column එකේ දෙකේම details පෙන්නන්න ඕනේ. So definitely not a pie chart, right? අපිට එක අවුරුද්දක ඉල්ලුවා නම් we can show the things by using the pie chart. So instead, without the pie chart, you can say other chart types like the bar chart, column chart, line chart, area chart. You can use any one of those, right? For any answer from these choices, you will be having 1 mark for that. Okay, so that sum up the fourth question. The fifth one, yeah, that is the database related one, right? So the first thing that they are asking the primary keys and the table name, right? So how we are going to recognize the primary keys? Like by considering how the values are behave inside the table, right? So if you take the customer table, and the fields like name, amounts, we are not going to take those things as the primary keys. So we are going to search for a thing which are not going to be a name or an amount or an address kind of things. Other than that, we should have a thing which has unique values. So name, we can't take it as a primary key. Account number, it is 1001, 1002, 3, 4, likewise, so it is unique. And type in the customer data table, it is RC, which is repeated. So for that reason, we can choose account number as the primary key of the customer data table, right? So primary key are in yellow color, right? And when you go to the rate table, the rate, we are not going to take the rate as a primary key because it is a figure. Figures can be duplicated easily, right? We are going to use the type, which having unique values, which is R and C, right? So in rate table, we can take type. And usage table, if you consider the month, it has a repetition over here, right? January repeating, and 1001 is repeating in the account number. Units, we are not going to consider that as a primary key because units can easily be duplicated, right? So the choice that we have is month and account number can be considered as a primary key together, right? So it is going to be the primary key for the usage table. So any primary key with the table written, you can take the answer for the marks for those things. So in the marking scheme, they are just talking about the customer data and grade because those two contains the solid answers. The usage table, it's a little bit, yeah, doubtful, right? So customer table, account number, rate table, type you can take, right? And they are asking about the foreign keys. Like foreign keys means primary key is going to be in some other table as a normal field, right? So like type in customer table, right? Because it was a primary key of the rate table. So type is there inside the customer table. So it is going to be considered as a foreign key, right? So foreign keys are squared by the red. And the if you take the account number alone in the usage table, again it's going to be a foreign key, right? So when you are writing your answers, you have to specify the specific table. In usage table, account number, and customer data table, the type, those can be considered as the foreign keys. So if you clarify those things correctly, you're going to have 2 marks. And in the third part, they are talking about what would be the most suitable table in the database to add the field customer address. So the customer address means something related to the customer, right? So it should be added to the customer table, right? So customer data table will be having the values of customer address, right? So it's got the third one is going to be the customer data table as the answer. So in fourth, it talking about what table should be updated if a new customer called ABC Nawaz of type R has used 120 units from the month April. So according to our tables, there are 4 separate things that they are indicating right over here. Neither ABC Nawaz is the first one. Type R, the second one. 120 units, the third one. April, month of April is the fourth one. So ABC Nawaz is going to go to the customer data table with the type R, right? And he is going to have his own account number because he is not a person, which is already in there. And 120 units is going to be on the usage table because it is the table which holds the number of units right over here, right? And month of April again goes under the month column. So that means 2 tables should be updated, which is the customer data table and usage table, right? And how we are going to do it, it shows over here. So customer data table, usage table is going to be updated. That is containing 1 mark, 0.5 for each. and they are asking what is the way of increase, or I mean, like what is the way of updating the things. So you can say customer data table ABC Nawaz, 1005, R, because they have said take 1005 as Nawaz, what you call the account number, right? And or else you can write it like this manner, right? So there are many ways that they are showing. Either you can write it in a table format, right? It's better you use to this table format, right? ඒක තමයි ඒගොල්ලෝ දැන් ගොඩක් වෙලාවට expect කරන්නේ, right? And when it comes to the usage table, so usage is going to be April 1520, right? So you can write it like this, or else in the table format. So anyway, for those will be carried 1 mark for each. So totally it's going to be 2 marks. Right. In the 6th part, they are asking what table should be joined to run a query to find out the total bill for AB Silva for January, right? So if this kind of a question is asked, as I told you before, just think how we are going to do this manually. ඔයාට manually කරන්න කිව්වොත්, ඔයාට අතින් කරන්න කිව්වොත් මේ tables තුන දීලා මේ කියන දේ හොයන්න කිව්වොත්, what you are going to do? So they are asking about what table should be joined to run a query to find out the total bill for AB Silva for January. So we need what? Total bill for AB Silva in January, right? So AB Silva is right over here. And in this table, it says the account number of AB Silva is 1001 and type is R. So to calculate the total bill, we need to know how many units that he has used for the January month, which we can find from this particular record, right? From this particular record, right? So AB Silva's things are taken from this particular record, the account number and the type, and the units are taken from this particular record. Since its type is R, we have to figure out what's the value of R, right? So it is taken from the rate table as well. So to have the final answer, we need to refer all 3 tables, right? So as the access the database management system. So that is why the marking scheme says all 3 tables, or the customer table, rate table, and usage table. So if you got it correctly, you can have 2 marks for that. Right. People, just give me a confirmation. Is it clear so far? Right, great. So who has done the 6th one? Anyone who has tried the 6th question? It seems to be no one. So, okay, Adisha, you have done it. Great. Right, so let's go with the 6th one. This is regarding the system development life cycle, right? So in the scenario, they have explained some of the things which we have done in the system development life cycle. So it says the librarian proposed to introduce a new computerized information system to manage its operations. Anwar identified the requirement of the proposed system. Then he designed a system that satisfies the requirements. Based on the design made under, Malini developed the software. Krishna tested the software. Saman installed the system in the library. A few months later, Malini fixed problems in the new system and modified the software to print 2 additional reports. So the last part was done after the installation, right? So here it's normally, or like in a short form, they have described what the SDLC is, right? So like identify requirements is the first one, right? And designing is the second phase, right? And coding is the third phase, or like the developing, right? And testing is the fourth phase, right? And install or like deployment is the fifth phase, and later the maintenance is called the sixth place, right? And in the first question they ask, who is involved in the coding phase of system development life cycle? So the most suitable answer is the Malani, and they have given correct for the answer Saman as well, because in the SDLC implementation is also recognized as installing the software as well, right? So but here coding means the developing actually, right? එතන ඒගොල්ලෝ පොඩි spelling mistake එකක් කරගෙන තිබ්බ නිසා in the marking scheme they have given two answers. One is Malani, and here in the brackets they say Saman is also acceptable as a correct. Give 1 mark, right? So either Saman or Malani. In the second one, they ask which phase of the system development life cycle was carried out by Saman. So Saman is saying install the system in the library. Saman is install the system in the library. So installing means deployment, right? So that is the answer that they are expecting, deployment or the implementation phase of the system, right? Or the deployment of the system, right? So you can have 1 mark for that. And C part is asking which phase of the system development life cycle was carried out by Krishna. So Krishna is doing the testing part, right? Krishna tested the software, yeah. So the testing part. So you can just say testing, or you can say test debugging phase and software quality assurance phase, anything. So like testing will give you the marks, right? Testing phase or the testing will give you 1 mark regarding the C part. So what are the testing methods that we can use in the system development life cycle? There are 4, right? Which means the unit testing, we use the units of the system individually. Then the integrated integration testing. So like you integrate some of the units and test whether it is working, right? And the system testing, the entire system will get tested whether to see whether it is working or not correctly. And the final one is the acceptance testing, the test which is carried out by the client in front of the project team to see whether the client's requirement has met, right? So that is called the acceptance testing, right? And when it comes to the deployment, අපිට system එකක් install කරන්න පුළුවන් ක්‍රම 4ක් තියෙනවා නේද? Like you can do direct deployment. So you get rid of the old system and you replace the new system, right? So that is called the direct deployment. And parallel deployment, the old system is there, like, and the new system is also installed. So old and new will be run together for a certain amount of period. Once the new system is confident with the users, the old system will get stopped and the new one will be continued. And there is another one called pilot installation, or like the pilot deployment. So in pilot deployment, what they are doing is they take the new system and they put that new system to a part of the organization. නේ organization එකෙන් කෑල්ලකට විතරක් කොටසකට විතරක් දාලා කියනවා ඒ කොටසට අදාළව ඉන්න කට්ටියට total system එකම පාවිච්චි කරන්න කියලා. It's like you are creating a system for your school and only the primary classes or the primary section is experiencing the whole new system. The secondary part will not. They will go with the old system. Once the primary section has experienced the new system and got through it, if it is success, then the secondary school will also get in the new system entirely, right? So the primary section project is called the pilot project. So එතන තමයි pilot deployment එක කරන්නේ. එතන test එකක් කරන්නේ. ඒක හරියට අර අපිට ඇඟට බෙහෙතක් විදිනකොට සමහර බෙහෙත් තියෙනවා නේද? සමහර injections තියෙනවා. පොඩි ප්‍රමාණයක් විතර බලනවා ඇලර්ජි වෙනවද කියලා. ඇලර්ජි වෙන්නේ නැත්නම් තමයි total solution එක දෙන්නේ. right? එතකොට අර pilot එක තමයි අර අපේ එක තැනක test කරපු එක. ඊට පස්සේ දෙන එක සම්පූර්ණ body එකට මේගොල්ලෝ test කරන්න ගන්නවා. right? So the other one is the phase deployment. So the phase deployment means they have made a new system and there is an old system already in the company. So they cut down a part of the old system. Old system again කොටස phase එකක් අයින් කරලා they replace it from the new system components. අර අයින් කරන කොටසට විතරක් අදාළ කොටස new system එකෙන් connect කරනවා. Then the entire organization will experience that new part. එක කොටසක් ඒ phase එක විතරක් experience කරනවා. Once that phase is done, then the second phase තව කොටසක් old එකෙන් අයින් කරලා අලුත් කොටසක් දාගන්නවා. ඊට පස්සේ ඒක experience කරනවා. So likewise with the time, the entire system will be applied to the organization as a new one. Right? So those are the deployment methods that you can talk. All right. So the fourth one is asking about write two different methods that Anwar can use to understand the requirement of the proposed system. So there are many. He can interview people and get to know about the system. He can observe the system and get to know about the system. He can prepare a questionnaire and give it to the users and gather the information, right? Or else he can prefer the sample documents, which is talking about the current system and get to know about it, right? So those kind of things can be carried out, right? So in the marking scheme, they says observation, interview, questionnaires, document inspection, prototyping, document sample inspections. So any two of these things will give you 3 marks, right? And the E part is not in your syllabus now, right? So E part is talking about Anwar access whether the new system is able to run with the available computers in the library. What feasibility was assessed, sorry, it's not accessed, assessed in this scenario. So this assessment is taken by the feasibility study, something called feasibility study, right? Feasibility study will give you the clue or give the project team the clue whether this organization is capable of having this system or not, right? එතකොට ඒගොල්ලෝ පැති කීපයකින් එක check කරලා බලනවා. They will do a technical feasibility whether this company is capable of like whether this company is having the technical resources that they need to run this system, right? Computers තියනවාද, ඊළඟට අවශ්‍ය කරන අනිත් devices තියනවාද කියන එක. Those are the technical feasibility checking. So if it is not available, they can inform, the project team can inform to the company or the client, you need this much of computers and this much of this kind of devices, which is not in your organization. So it will incur you this particular cost and will give you this much of benefits out of it. So you think whether you are going to go with the project or not, right? So that is why the feasibility study is done, for the sake of the project team. Otherwise, මේක මගක් කරගෙන ගිහිල්ලා client figure out වුණොත් මේකට මට තව වියදම් කරන්න වෙනවා, මේගොල්ලෝ system එකට අමතරව මට computers ගන්න වෙනවා, I have to brought the switches, network things and all these things which will cost me some more things. Then client can say you didn't mention me earlier, so I can't go with this, right? Put it up in. Right. So that is what you call feasibility study. Just get to know about it, right? So feasibility study is searching whether the company is feasible. Feasible කියලා කියන්නේ කරගන්න පුළුවන්ද කියන එක. සිංහල වචනයකට අපි කතා කරන්නේ ශක්‍යතා අධ්‍යයනය කියලා. Right? So whether it is feasible, can be done. Right? So it is what they are mentioning, but for this particular one, for the E part, you can have the marks. You can have the marks, right? So they have given 1 mark for that. You can take it, right? So in the second part, what they are saying is the following steps from A to F shows the process of visiting the http www.ni.lk. Yes, එතකොට ඒකට යන විදිහ match කරගන්න කියලා ඒගොල්ලෝ කියන්නේ. So some of things are given, like ඒක marking scheme එකෙන් බලමු මෙතන diagram එක refer වෙන්නේ නැති නිසා. So like B, D and E is labeled already. 3 is for B, 4 is for D and 5 is for E. So you have to go with 1, 6 and 2. So 1 is going to be user opens the web browser and enter this particular http www.ni.lk, which is the F. So 1 is going to be F. And 2 is going to be the request that they are sending to resolve the domain name. The domain name එකක් දුන්නම domain name එක computer එකට අඳුන ගන්න බෑ. ඒක නිසා ඒක DNS server එකට යවනවා. මේ domain name එකට අදාළ IP address එක මොකක්ද කියලා හොයාගන්න. Right? So that is done by the DNS server. So web browser එක තමයි DNS server එකට domain name එක යවන්නේ. Domain name is www.ni.lk. So it is given in A, right? Request to translate www.ni.lk domain name to the IP address is sent to the name server, right? So the second one is going to be A. First one is F, 2 is A. And 3, they know B, DNS return its IP address like this. And 4 is D, web browser renders the HTML pages. And hold on. C is going to be the 6th one. Web browser renders the HTML web pages. So what actually happens is, අපි domain name එකක් දුන්නම it will be sent to the DNS server to figure out what is the IP address is. Then that IP address will be informed to the web browser. Then using that, web browser will direct it to the particular web server using the HTTP GET method, right? And web server will give you like providing the requested web page to the browser, and then the web browser renders the HTML web page to the user, right? So that is what is happening. So 1 is F, 2 is A, 6 is C. That is what you are going to have as the answers, right? 1F, 2A, 6C. So 3 marks for that. All right, so that comes to the seventh question. So seventh question is about a flowchart and a pseudocode. So they have given a very simple flowchart for you, right? And they ask you to write the pseudocode. So first thing we have to figure out what kind of a flowchart that we are dealing with, right? And hold on, where's my flowchart? Yeah, it's right over here. Yeah, so then this has a condition box, and it starts input A and B. Then this condition, if you take your uh, pen point right over the flows, it flows over here and it stops, right? Or else it will go on this path and it will stops. So we can't see any iteration. Like the condition will deviate the ways that we are going, and it stops. So this means this is a selection, right? So on the condition, it will decide which part they are going to move and end, right? Either the yes path or the no path. So when you are fixing this into a pseudocode, this is going to be your pseudocode. So there should be begin, it is a must. So for begin and end, they have given 1 mark separately. And you can use the words input, get, or read, or maybe you can use obtain as well. So input A and input B, you can have it as a one single line, like input A comma B, or you can have two separate lines, input A and input B. And there is the if condition, which holds which says what is the condition, because this is, since this is a selection, you should have if then else structure, right? So if A larger than B, then display or show or print or output B. That's how the flow chart works, right? If it is true, display B. If it is false, display A. So then display B, else display A, and end if, then the end should be there, right? So the brackets of the A larger than B condition is not compulsory, it is optional. You can have it or not have it. So they have given the marks on this manner. For begin and end, 1 mark. For the input A and input B, for both things, 2 marks, right? And yes, Dhanit, that is correct. Input A comma B is correct, right? That can have 2 marks. And if statements, you have, it should be a complete correct if statements. They have given 3 marks, right? So altogether, it has 6 marks to have it, right? So that is going to be the pseudocode regarding the flowchart. And as the very last part, they are asking what's going to be there in the P and Q of this particular flow chart. This flow chart is figuring out what is the smallest value out of 3 values. So in the first condition, it is checking whether A is larger than B. So if it goes, they are inputting 3 numbers, which is called A, B, C. So first they take 2 and compare. A is larger than B. So if it is larger, if it is yes, A is the bigger one, B is the smaller one, right? If it is no, A is the smaller one, B is the bigger one from this particular point. So from there, there is a condition. They says if it is yes to display C, so this particular program is trying to output the smallest one. So displaying C means C is going to be a smaller. So to display C here, so C should be smaller than B. මොකද මෙතනින් එනකොට A ට වඩා B පොඩි. So C will display when C should be smaller than B. So your argument should be C less than B. Right? එහෙම වුණොත් අපි C තමයි පුංචි මෙක්කෙනා. So we display C. Right? Or else we are going to display B in the no path. When it comes on the no path of this particular condition, මෙතනදී එන්නේ B තමයි ලොකු A තමයි පොඩි. So here they displays A. So the question should be then AB ගෙන් පොඩි එක්කෙනා තමයි A. ඊළඟට compare කරන්න තියෙන්නේ CY AY. So then they compare whether A is less than C. If the A is less than C, then it displays A. Otherwise, it displays C. So your answers are right over here. Right? You actually don't need the question mark because question mark is there in your question. So you only need two conditions. So for those two conditions, they have given it like this: P is B larger than C, or C like C less than B. So the same thing. Q is A larger than C, or C less than A. Any one of those for P and Q is going to have total marks. All right, so that's the end of 2017 paper, people. So please let me know your marking as well, the final mark, right? Send me a individual WhatsApp message, right? So I can get to know about your marks as well. So by next week, we are going to start the 2016 paper. And yeah, since I'm a little bit busy with the Guru Gedara programs these days, let's have another 1 or 2 weeks, then we'll discuss the last lesson. Last lesson is not much that you know a lot of things already. We'll go through it, we'll brief it, right? Then we can go through the things, right? So just do the 2016 paper, keep things up, right? You only have another 1 month of a period, right? Don't think about those 18 days in January, right? You are going to have your examination on 18th of December, so get ready. 18th of January, get ready, right? Okay, people. So I'm going to wind up the session from this point. Thank you for participating and have a nice weekend. And keep doing what you are doing, right? You are doing good, right? Hari, Parisamatinda. So have a nice weekend to everyone, right? Thank you very much. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, Dua.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.